Good morning. It's the 1st of December, 2025. Not far to Christmas now. December is going to be a very interesting month. There's a lot going on. We're watching the complete collapse of the old system. But it's being managed very, very carefully for a reason. Those on the left, those in the woke brigade, those on the Democrat side, the Labour side, will get very, very violent when they find out that they've been lied to. And I know this firsthand, because when I came out of the Plymouth Brethren, I found out that I'd been lied to by people I trusted. My first reaction was anger. And what we don't want is civil war. So this has to be managed very, very carefully. And there are, at the moment, there will be many, many distractions for you to look over here, to take away from the collapse. Not for the people that are awake, for the people that are waking up, so that we don't land up in a civil war. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Drew.
Good morning, everybody. Well, first story of the day. A senior Russian diplomat claims Ukrainian President Zelensky fired his powerful chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, to shield himself from a widening corruption scandal. Yermak resigned just hours after an anti-corruption agent raided his properties, following a separate $100 million kickback case involving another Zelensky ally.
Well, if just do your own research on this story, and you'll see that Yermak was a former film producer for Zelensky, his mate. He had no qualifications in government or in politics or anything else. He may well have been a very good film producer. He's also an extremely good money launderer, and that's all being exposed right now. Drew.
Good morning, everybody. First up, US senators are demanding a legal review of Trump-era strikes on suspected cartel boats after a Washington Post report alleged an order to kill survivors. An accusation said Tim Kaine says it could amount to war crime if verified.
There's a lot of things going on right now that will be legally classified as treason and war crimes. And that's not for us to decide. That'll be military tribunals. The military is the only way. And that is where we'll move forward to, so that you can't point the finger and go, oh, it was Trump, oh, it was Farage, oh, it was this, it was that, it was the other. The military will decide. Paul.
My next one. President Trump says he will soon announce his pick for Federal Reserve Chair, but has not confirmed reports that he will choose Kevin Hassett, his current economic advisor. Prediction markets now give Hassett a 72% chance of being nominated, up sharply from earlier this week.
That's a very interesting point, Paul. And the one thing that Trump is a businessman. And at the moment, what we've seen with the Federal Reserve, with Jerome Powell, he's not a businessman. He's a politician come, flunky come, banker come, whatever. But you need a business brain when you're doing what you're doing right now. And this is one thing that Trump will do. He will use it for a business brain rather than a political brain. And that's what will save the world from complete and utter collapse. My next story is a very interesting one. I watched a debate at the weekend, which blew me away. A debate between a Christian and a Muslim, both of high standing. Something I didn't know. When you look at Muslims in general, let's take Pakistan, which is the highest. 65% of Pakistani Muslims marry their first cousin. That lands out with an average IQ of 81. The second country is Saudi Arabia, where 58% of the Muslim population marry their first cousin, which comes out with an average IQ of 76. Not all of them, but 58%. Over 50% again in the UAE marry their first cousin with an average IQ of 82. And then you would look at the other side of the coin. Christian marriages. Less than 1% of Christians marry their first cousin. The average IQ is always over 100. That's a big difference. So when you've got these people in power in the UK, in Europe, that are Muslim inbreeds, you've got a lower IQ. And we've actually seen it firsthand. The people that are running the UK, Europe, America, some of the stuff makes no sense what they're doing to a person that has an IQ of over 100. The world has been run by people who don't have a clue what they're doing. It doesn't matter who you're surrounded by. You can be surrounded by good people. But the person in power needs to be intelligent. And my mind often goes back to Russia, to Sergei Lavrov, probably the greatest diplomat the world has ever seen. I can guarantee you his IQ is probably higher than 120. When you've got people of high IQ, you don't get the problems that we're getting right now. When you've got, I'll say it in Charlie language, when you've got idiots in power, this is what happens. The world is in a mess.
And next up, the White House has unleashed a new media bias tracker, an aggressive public-facing tool tagging news outlets for alleged misrepresentation, missing context, or outright malpractice, intensifying President Trump's long-running battle with what he calls the fake news media.
Well, I'm going to finish with a lovely little story that happened over the weekend. I was asked over the weekend, I said, Charlie, you've got a very, very powerful black book or phone list. And we looked at my phone, got over 3,500 phone numbers in there. We've got some very, very powerful people, heads of government, politicians, diplomats, well-known people. And I was asked a question, who do you think you could contact that would answer you immediately and be there for you? And the answer was obvious. Our Lord Jesus Christ. I can call on him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and so can you. I'll leave you with that thought for December. Have a wonderful December. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Noble Gold. Real assets. Real value. Your wealth protected.